Tessu blocked the door temporarily, but Dong Rim accidentally fell as the zombies were about to attack. Fortunately, Wasan appeared and quickly killed all the zombies in the area. Wasan asked Tessu to take the medicine and leave first while she took Dong Rim, who was injured, and escaped. As Tessu left, countless zombies broke through the gates and surged towards the group. Wasan desperately fired her gun, but the overwhelming number of zombies forced them to leap out of the corridor through the glass windows. At this point, Min-jae had lost his mind. He raised his chair and smashed the glass door blocking the zombies, and countless zombie hordes swarmed in. Tessu quickly rushed to the classroom and urged everyone to run, but it was too late. The group had to use desks and chairs to fend off the zombie attacks, but the zombie attack was too strong for them to resist, and the scene was in chaos. The zombies were frantically biting the crowd. The fastest runners desperately tried to escape. Those who ran slowly became zombie food. At this moment, no one could care about anyone else. If you wanted to live, you could only run for your life. Even those hiding in the restrooms couldn't escape the Black Mist's attack. Soon, the school had become a zombie paradise. In the midst of the chaos, Wasan and Min-jae engaged in a fierce showdown. Ultimately, Wasan managed to disable Min-jae and send him away. On the other side, Tessu was also pierced through the chest by a several-meter-long tentacle. Mishi was targeted by the creature, but Wasan arrived just in time and rescued her by shooting at the monster. Unexpectedly, the creature launched a sneak attack from behind Wasan and knocked her to the ground. In a critical moment, Taehan came to the rescue, but Taehan was knocked to the ground by the monster's punch. What they didn't realize was that Dong Rim, who had inhaled the black mist at the pit, had completely deteriorated and become one with the monster. Wasan asked the monster what it did to Dong Rim, but the monster said it did it to get back at her classmates for bullying her. Dong Rim accepts the monster into her body and she wants to punish everyone. Taehan fights back while they're talking and is overpowered by the monster again. Taehan is about to be killed by the monster. Asuna tries to wake up Dongrim, who has lost her mind to the monster, but the deteriorated Dongrim still has human consciousness in his heart, and he doesn't kill Taehan. Dongrim turns around and leaves. It doesn't end there. They decide to use a nitrogen agent to solidify the monster and destroy it. Taehan heads to the control room, while Wasan and the police officer lure the monster. Unexpectedly, a steady stream of zombies attacks Taehan. In a critical moment, Taehan shoots and detonates a gas canister, turning the zombies to ashes in an instant. Soon the monster reappears, and by this time Dongrim has completely deteriorated. The monster instantly knocks the sheriff to the ground and reaches its tentacles towards Wasan, flinging her directly to the ground. At this moment, with whatever remained of her consciousness, Dongrim uses her tentacles to pierce the liquid nitrogen canister and takes control of the monster's body. A large volume of liquid nitrogen erupts, causing the monster to cry out in agony. Taehan rushes over, smashing one of the monster's legs with a gun. The monster loses its balance and falls to the ground, quickly freezing as the liquid nitrogen solidifies its body. Wasan tells Dongrim to get away from the monster, but Dongrim can't get away and shouts for Wasan to shoot him. Helpless, Wasan takes a fatal shot at the monster, and the creature controlling the zombies disintegrates into ash. All the zombies who inhaled the black mist fall to the ground. The zombie crisis caused by the black hole is finally solved. They can finally take off their masks and breathe fresh air. Everything. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. If you did, make sure to subscribe for more awesome content. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Hello to all Cinemaster lovers. Hope you enjoy watching. Let's get started. The movie Dark Hole begins. In the depths of the mountains, a mysterious black hole has been discovered, emitting a dark smoke that affects anyone who comes close. The smoke triggers a primal instinct, turning people into aggressive creatures akin to zombies, attacking others on sight. Several curious teenagers decide to explore the phenomenon to investigate further. They grab Dong Rim, a student girl's phone, and tie it to a rope to use as a live streaming camera. They slowly lower the phone into the abyss, but their live stream is soon interrupted. Suddenly, the rope is yanked by some unknown force, causing it to snap in two. Hyen asks Dong Rim to jump down and retrieve the mobile phone. As soon as he says that, some delinquent girls go straight to Dong Rim, grab her arms, and try to force her toward the sinkhole. They attempt to drag her toward the pit, taking advantage of their numbers. In her anger, Dong Rim retaliates, slapping Jodan. However, she is overpowered and pushed to the ground. The delinquent girls become angrier, planning to teach Dong Rim a lesson, but suddenly a dark smoke emerges and wraps around Jodan's body, eventually entering her nose. Quickly, Jodan's demeanor changes and she becomes malevolent. Dong Rim, who was lying on the ground, witnesses everything. At this point, they look a little scared. Hyen rushes forward to ask questions, but Jodan shows her dark eyes, grabs Hyen by the neck, and throws her to the ground. The two teenagers see the scene in front of them and don't dare to come forward to stop them. Jodan seems to have gone mad, and the teenagers can only watch from a distance. Meanwhile, Hunu falls under the influence of the dark smoke, her eyes turning pitch black and her body uncontrollable. She hears her mother's call and walks directly toward the abyss before leaping into it. it. Dong Rim is terrified and panicked. The group is bewildered and unsure of what to do. Hyen is still fighting for his life, but Jo Dan chokes him out alive. When Jo Dan looks up again, she stares fiercely at the two teenagers. Reacting, the two teenagers begin to run wildly, rolling and crawling all the way back to the car. However, the motorcycle won't start at the crucial moment. With Jo Dan about to pounce, Minja pushes his companion to fend him off while he gets on his motorbike and escapes. Meanwhile, Dong Rim, still in shock, curiously approaches Hyen's body to check if she is alive or dead. At that moment, a black smoke lunges at her. As night falls, a group of people is involved in a dispute. Some individuals nearby notice something strange and cautiously approach to investigate. Suddenly, Jo Dan bursts out of the mist and tackles a man to the ground. Black smoke continues to emerge, infecting people and turning them into zombies. They are driven by the black smoke and attack humans. With more and more people getting infected, the city's power grid is damaged and darkness engulfs the city. The hospital is overcrowded with patients. Miji is alone at home, feeling scared. She keeps trying to contact her mother, Min Soo, who is a nurse, but there is no response. As someone knocks on the door, Miji assumes it is Min Soo returning. Excitedly, Miji approaches the door, but just as she is about to open it, her phone rings. It is a video call from Min Soo at the hospital, telling Miji that there is an emergency and she might be home late. Confused about who is knocking on the door if Min Soo is at the hospital, Miji steps back in fear. On the other side, Min Soo is unaware of what is happening and continues to inquire about the situation. Suddenly, the glass door shatters and a woman she doesn't recognize enters the house. Terrified, Miji turns and runs. Min Soo sees a woman with dark eyes breaking into the house through a mobile phone dropped on the floor. She is extremely anxious. Min Soo puts down her work and rushes toward the hospital entrance, but a man covered in pustules blocks her way. The man attempts to attack Min Soo, but luckily, Wasan, a police officer, appears in time and deals with the man. Min Soo urgently seeks Wasan's help, so they hurriedly drive to rescue Miji. The streets are in chaos with zombies attacking the crowd. Quickly, they reach their home, but Miji is nowhere to be found. They start searching frantically. At that moment, Miji is hiding under a car, but even in such a concealed spot, she is spotted by a zombie. The zombie is about to grab her, and Miji screams in terror. Hearing her daughter's voice, Min Soo looks out the window, just in time to see Miji crawling out from under the car and running out of sight. Min Soo rushes outside to follow her daughter's trail and quickly locates Miji. However, just as they reunite, a female zombie catches up with them, blocking their escape route. It turns out that the female zombie mistakes Miji for her own child. In a critical moment, a car rams into the female zombie, knocking her down. It is Wasan who comes to their rescue. Seeing this opportunity, Min Soo quickly opens the car's trunk and Miji climbs inside. The female zombie, now back on her feet, picks up a shard of glass from the ground and viciously stabs Min Soo. Injured, Min Soo has no choice but to close the trunk quickly. Wasan sees this and tries to get out of the car to help, but the door gets stuck in the steps. The female zombie soon sets her sights on Miji. Reacting to the situation, Min Soo holds onto the zombie through the pain and then struggles with the zombie. Wasan in the car is holding his pistol, but he can't find a chance to kill the zombie. Min Soo urges Wasan to take Miji and leave. However, Wasan was reluctant to leave Min Soo behind. But the situation became more dangerous as the dark smoke and a horde of zombies approached. Min Soo continued to fight the female zombie, begging Wasan to escape. Looking at the scene in front of him, Michi was sobbing uncontrollably. Seeing that a large number of zombies were about to rush over, Wasan had to drive away with Michi in time. This was also the last goodbye between mother and daughter. The female zombie chasing her was hit by the car. The street was a mess. Burning cars, people running around, little girls crying. Wasan felt devastated and helpless, looking at the apocalyptic scene around her. Before Wasan could recover, there was an accident at an intersection, and the car crashed straight into the side of the road. They were forced to get out of the car. As Wasan embraced Michi, a zombie attacked them, but Wasan managed to block the zombie's attack just in time. After a fierce struggle, Wasan managed to subdue the zombie and put it in the trunk. But when Wasan turned around, she saw only panicked people running away, while Michi was nowhere to be seen. Wasan looked around for Michi and was worried about her safety. A loudspeaker broadcast, and Wasan could only search for Michi in the direction of the sound. Survivors were flocking to a nearby school, but the zombies were relentlessly chasing after them. The school gates were locked, and the crowd was besieged by zombies, leading to a chaotic scene. They had no choice but to climb over the fence. A girl injured her foot, and her father urged her older sister to run. The zombies broke through the gates, and the girl could only watch in horror as her father and sister were killed by the zombies. The girl reached the entrance of a building, and Tesu, one of her teachers, saw her. He tried to open the door, but an elderly man inside stopped him. Meanwhile, the zombies caught up with the girl and tackled her to the ground, and those who escaped were on full alert. Wasan found Michi here, while Minjae and Dong Rim, who had escaped in a car, also arrived. A patrolling security guard was pierced through the chest by the tentacles of a monster. They immediately brought the injured guard into a classroom for rescue, but the first aid kit was in the medical room, which was now occupied by zombies. To get the first aid kit, Wasson decided to attract the zombies' attention alone. She made noise to draw them towards her, and then quickly ran away. The zombies chased after her, and she led them into a classroom. Wasson used the chaos of tables and chairs to evade the zombies' pursuit. Just as Wasson was about to escape through the door, Min-jae suddenly locked the door and gave an evil smile. The zombies in the classroom pounced on Wasson in a frenzy, and she was soon pinned down by the zombies. Just when Min-jae thought Wasson was going to die, Wasson got out from under the table but was quickly caught by the zombies again. Wasson could only hit the window and jump out of it. Luckily, Wasson grabbed the balcony with her backhand and escaped. Min-jae returned to the classroom and claimed that Wasson had turned into a zombie. Tae-soo, however, didn't believe him and slapped Min-jae while he continued to search for medical supplies. A zombie suddenly rushed out and Tae-soo was tackled onto a table. Dong-rim's foot was also injured when a zombie stepped on it. Min-jae, sensing the danger, quickly fled the scene. Thankfully, Tae-soo managed to deal with the zombie and they escaped from the medical room. However, the zombies continued to pursue them and they fled into a corridor.